What is up, Baggies fans, football fans, and sports fans, to the latest game week predictions? It is game week 6. The championship is flying. Some fantastic results at the weekend for a lot of teams. Some poor results for teams like West Bromwich Albion, that team I support. And yeah, it's been an interesting start to the season. There's been already a manager sacked, so it is definitely feeling like the championship is fully in swing. Before I get into this video, let's set the like target to 30 likes on this video. Leave a comment, let me know what team you support and what you think the predictions are going to be for your team this week. Look forward to reading each and every one of your comments. Make sure you subscribe as well. We are well on our way to 700 subscribers now, so make sure you smash that subscribe button, and let's hope we hit the big 1K before the end of the year. That is a goal, so make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notification to stay up to date with everything I produce on this channel. Everything I do is thanks to you guys, and let's get into it. First game is a Friday night game. It is Middlesbrough versus West Brom. Obviously, I won't delve too much into this game because I do a match breakdown preview before the game, so that'll come out Thursday night, and then on Friday I will be doing a live stream watch along. So if you can get in there, come and watch us. We'll be talking all things about the game. You know, Middlesbrough fans, West Brom fans, I don't mind coming in and say hello. It's going to be a good one. I'm predicting 1-1 in this game. I know Middlesbrough are currently unbeaten. And come back late against Preston last week to draw 2-2 with a 92nd minute equaliser. So they are, defensively, they are a bit fragile and can concede goals. And I hope that the way that they play will play into our hands a little bit. However, I do see them scoring against us. They've got some absolutely fantastic players. I'm not going to delve too much more into that one. I'm going to save it for tomorrow's video. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Up next, you've got QPR versus Stoke City. Now, Stoke City beat Birmingham City 1-0 at the weekend, whereas QPR beat Wrexham 3-1. Fantastic result for QPR. They really do look like they've got their team starting to gel together, and they've signed a great striker in Kone, and I do think he's going to be a really good player for them this season. And Stoke as well, they've had a really good start to the season. They've only lost to us. Apart from that, they're unbeaten so far, which is, fantastic for Stoke. When last season, if you look at them, they were fighting for relegation. Mark Robbins has really got them into tune, and Sorba Thomas looks like a world beater for them. And the striker as well, it's just, it all seems to be working together for Stoke this season. I do believe they'll drop a little bit of form and end up in the playoffs, but I do think it'll be a well-earned position for them this year. So I think in this game, I do think Stoke are going to come away with the points. QPR are a great team, but I just think Stoke will have that edge. I'm going to go Stoke City 2, QPR 1. Fans of each team, let me know how you think the season's going for you so far. Let me know who you think's going to win the game and why. Love reading all your comments. Next up, Birmingham City and Swansea City. Birmingham haven't had the start to the season that they were predicting. Obviously, they lost 1-0 to Stoke at the weekend, and Swansea drew 2-2 with Hull City. Swansea hit and miss each game. They look like some games they're world beaters, and in other games they look like they're struggling to pick up, points and results. So it's going to be an interesting one. It is at St Andrews, and I think this is where Blues really need to be picking up the results if they want to be pushing for that top half of the table. They've signed the players to do it, so I think it's just a case of getting them to gel. They've got a great manager, and I think he's just getting his head around the championship. He's did a fantastic job in League One for them, getting them, promoted with a record points tally. But the championship is a different league altogether, and he needs to work out how to play different teams. And I do think once he kind of gets his head around how different teams set up and how to play, I think Birmingham City will do really well. They've got a fantastic pressing line. I know I'm saying the word fantastic a lot again, so I do apologise for that one. But they have got a really good attacking unit that presses teams, and I do think they'll catch a lot of teams out of how high they press and how quickly they can be on teams. Stansfield, Kumas are all really good players, and I do believe towards the end of the season they'll be pushing into the top half of the table. Whether they can make the playoffs this year is another question. I don't think they're quite ready for that yet. But I do think given this season, let their manager get his head around, the squad and how the league is next season, I do think that they'll be up there. Swansea, I just think that they're going to be, mid-table. I don't think they're quite, ready for that push towards the top half of the table yet. Again, they look like a team in transition from the previous season with their previous manager. obviously got new owners in now, and hopefully they can get a bit of money spent and kind of put him in the right direction. I do think Birmingham are going to win this game. I do think they'll be picking up 3 points at home, so I'm going to go 2-0 to Birmingham City. I do think a clean sheet. I fancy Kyogo to score as well. He looks almost like a world beater sometimes. Almost too good for the league. So let's see how they get on in that one. Next up, Leicester City versus Coventry City. How Leicester kept hold of that winger, Fatu. He is unbelievable. He's just so quick. They didn't do the best last week. They drew 2-2 with Oxford. And Leicester did have a player sent off. So it's going to be an interesting one. But, they still have really a bottom half Premier League team together, really. Ricardo Pereira, Ayew. They do have the foundations of a lower end of a Premier League table. So once they get going, I think that they will kick on and be really well. Obviously, they've got a new manager in charge this year, and he's still trying to get his ideas across. And I think once he gets that, game plan in action, and once he starts getting his ideas into play, and the team starts to almost play it the way they should be playing, then I do think that they're going to be up there. I don't know if they're going to get a points deduction. It seems it's gone very quiet on that front, but I just see them missing out on playoffs this year. I don't think the manager's quite at the level to push into playoffs. They're going to be very good, but will they be at the playoffs at the end of the year? I doubt it. Now on to Coventry. Coventry, again, they've had a mixed start to the season. The first couple of games, they were absolutely flying. I mean, they're sixth in the league, so, they've had a really, really good start to the season, and also unbeaten as well, which I didn't notice. They've won 2, drawn 3, picking up 9 points. That QPR game where they put 7 past them was... I don't think anybody expected that. And they have kept hold of some really, really good players. It's just whether they got second season syndrome with Lampard. Are they going to, push on and go one better and get promoted, or are they going to languish a little bit? And it's difficult. I think Frank Lampard is a very good manager, but I just don't know if he's quality enough to get him promoted. He did all right with Chelsea, did all right with Derby, but is he quite, the manager to do a full season in the Championship and get him promoted? I don't know. Obviously, he did a very good job with Derby when he was in charge of them, but they did have some fantastic players that season, as do Coventry. But they just don't know. There's just something not quite gelling with them. That QPR game, I think, was just unbelievable, luckily. And I just don't think that they've quite been able to, reenact that form again. And whether he can get them going like that again, it remains to be seen. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this game. I think both sides will be cancelling each other out. Up next, you got Blackburn Rovers versus Ipswich. Obviously, Ipswich battered Sheffield United 5-0 last week, and Sheffield United sacked their manager after that weekend, and it's kind of hard not to see why they did. But Ipswich, just that Philogene that they've got, again, fantastic player. Hirsch, Clark, the back line of West Bromwich Albion pretty much, if they wanted to, with, they could literally play a West Brom back line with Palmer, Furlong, Kipri, O'Shea and Townsend if they wanted to. But I do think they've probably got one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And, they are a very, very good squad. Blackburn did come off with a win against Watford as well. And they are currently 16th in the table. So I think it's been a bit of a mixed start for Blackburn. And it's probably the same for Ipswich as well. They're 14th in the table, 1 win, 3 draws, 1 loss. You'd have expected them to start the season to be really pushing on and being towards the top half of the table. And I don't think anybody expected Middlesbrough to be up there, to be fair. It's a tough one for me, this one. I think Ipswich will be good enough to pick the points up. I'm going to go 2-1 to Ipswich. I think Blackburn will score early, but I just think the pressure that Ipswich play under Kieran McKenna, I think they'll just end up overdoing it and finishing off the game. So yeah, I'm gonna have Ipswich to win that one. Obviously, fans of each club, let me know how you think you're getting out this weekend. Each and every one of your comments are absolutely brilliant to read, and I enjoy seeing all your feedback on the channel. Up next, you got Derby County versus Preston. Derby obviously beat us 1-0 at the weekend, whereas Preston drew 2-2 with Borough. I think that for me, the way Derby play, they just invite too much pressure onto them. I don't know if that's just how they play away from home or how they just set up for us. Derby fans, is that how you usually play each week? Do you let teams almost have all of the ball and invite the pressure on and try and catch them. It worked very well against us. On another day, it probably wouldn't, and we wouldn't have had our own player clearing the ball off the line. We wouldn't have hit the bar. We wouldn't have missed chances. And I don't think you can kind of take that risk with Preston. Preston, again, are another team that surprised a lot of people, including myself. And I think a lot of Preston fans have been surprised with how they've started so far. As a fan that constantly comes onto the channel, and I really do appreciate him coming. Saying that the week before when they lost, they had a lot of their main players out and they were returning for the Middlesbrough game. And you can kind of see they've picked up a point against top of the league. And they've got some really good players. The Dobbin goal, I mean, we had Dobbin on loan and didn't see anything like that last season. So, you know, really, really look like a well-drilled team. And I think they'll be picking up the points here against Derby. Derby are, again, under Eustace, very strong, very, compact. But I think if you play the way you played against us, against other teams, they'll punish you. And I think Preston are going to be the team that punishes you. I'm going to go 3-1 to Preston. I think you invite the pressure onto them, and I think they're just going to score goals for fun. And yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 to Preston. Obviously, Derby fans, let me know. Is that just the way you played against us? Do you play like that every week? I don't know. But I think Preston will be too strong for you this weekend. Next up, we've got Hull City versus Southampton. Southampton drew 0-0 in the South Coast derby with Portsmouth, whereas Hull City drew 2-2 with Swansea. Now, the thing is for Southampton, they've signed really good players. Tom Fellows, Finn Azaz, the Brazilian lad that they signed from the Bundesliga. They signed really, really good players. The issue is, can he get them playing together and gelling together? He went to his favourite system at the weekend against Portsmouth. And I have to admit, I was watching the game and I thought Portsmouth were going to be the one that win it, to be fair. Obviously, late at the crossbar, had some really good chances. And Southampton just don't look quite like they're, going to get far in this season. Where are they currently in the table? They're currently 15th in the table. They've won 1, drawn 3, and lost 1, like Ipswich. It's whether he can get the best out of those players. Tom Fellows, for example, the way he's trying to get him to play, I don't think he will suit Tom Fellows. If he lets him run to the byline and cross it in, he's fantastic. But it looks like he's trying to get him to cut in and play an inverted role, and that's not what you want for Fellows. If he gets him playing, down the line, step over onto his right foot and crossing it in, fantastic. You're going to get results from him. It's just whether if that's what he wants from him. And, it's a difficult one for Will still. He's got the great team. It's just, is he a great manager himself? Is he going to get the players playing where they want to? Hull City, they are currently 20th in the table. They've won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. A bit of a hit and miss start to the season again. They've got some decent players, Hull. Every team in the Championship so far this season has had some decent players and decent results. It's just whether they, can string results together. McBurney is a fantastic signing for Hull. I do think he'll score a lot of goals for them. But they look so fragile at the back. And I think Southampton, if they can get going this week against, Hull City, I think they'll just push on from there. And I really do expect the likes of Fellows and Azaz, Archer to have free run of a lot of teams this year. And I can see it happening this weekend. I'm going to go Southampton 3, Hull 0 in this game. I just think they're going to be way too strong for Hull City. Portsmouth, Sheffield Wednesday. As I mentioned, Portsmouth, picking up a 0-0 draw at St Mary's. Absolutely fantastic. Sheffield Wednesday, they lost 3-0 to Bristol City. I really do feel sorry for you Sheffield Wednesday fans. You look like a team devoid of any confidence. You just, obviously what's going on off the pitch, players being paid, staff being paid, an owner that's just not willing to sell him and, basically holding the club to ransom, your stands closed. I really do feel sorry for you because, you're probably one of the biggest clubs going in the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday. And to see that happening to you, I just really do feel sorry for you. And I do think you're going to struggle this weekend against Portsmouth. Portsmouth, I mean, Murphy for them has been a world beater, It was somebody that when we sold Fellows, I was like, should we look at signing him? But obviously Portsmouth held strong and really held on to him, and they've done a good job to keep hold of him. They've signed some really, really good players as well, Portsmouth, and possibly they might be the dark horse this season. They might be the ones breaking into the top half of the table. And I can see him beating Sheffield Wednesday here as well at Fratton Park. Fratton Park is a very, very difficult place to go, as many teams found out last year, and teams will find out this year. You can't go to Fratton Park and play half-arse because the fans, I mean, the Portsmouth fans are some of the best I've seen, and they will get straight onto their team and back them all the way. Even when they were 3-0 down to us last year at Fratton Park, they were still rocking the place. So I think Portsmouth are going to pick up the result here, 2-0. I can't see Sheffield Wednesday staying up this season. I do really feel sorry for your fans. Sheffield United, Charlton. Obviously, Sheffield United lost 5-0, sacked their manager, brought Chris Wilder back in. Um, for me, if I was Chris Wilder, I'd be demanding something else because to get sacked at the end of the season because the board want to play a different style of football and then be brought back in, surely in the back of his head he's thinking, do the board really want me in, or is this just a case of, oh crap, we screwed up, let's just get you back in? And surely that's got to be playing on his mind a little bit. I think he'll turn the fortunes round. He's a fantastic manager. Let's not, get that wrong. When he got him in the Premier League, they were playing ridiculously good football in the Premier League for, the formation they were playing. And I think give it a week or two and they'll be back firing on all cylinders. Charlton, where did Charlton get on last week? They drew 1-1 with Millwall, was that right? Yeah, they drew 1-1 with Millwall. So again, great result for Charlton, that one. Charlton currently sit 18th in the table, whereas Sheffield United are rock bottom with a -11 goal difference. Haven't won a game yet, which if anybody said at the start of the season it would be the two Sheffield teams in the bottom two, I'd have taken one of them, but I wouldn't have taken the second one. So I do think Sheffield United will get back to form this week. I think under Wilder, they're going to start picking up points. And I'm going to go Sheffield United 2, Charlton 1. Charlton do look a very solid team under Nathan Jones. And again, they surprised me. I had them going down this season, not really putting in that many good performances, but they do look a well-drilled team and will probably pick up some decent results against a lot of the teams in and around that bottom half of the table. And I think that will be enough to keep them up. But I think this week, return of Chris Wilder, they're going to be too strong. So I want to go Sheffield United. Yeah, Sheffield United to win this one. Next up, we've got Norwich City versus Wrexham. Wrexham lost 3-1 at home to QPR, whereas Norwich, how did Norwich get on? Where are we? Norwich drew 1-1 with Coventry. Norwich have got a fantastic team. Josh Sargent up front. The way they've managed to keep hold of him and he's not gone to a Premier League club is ridiculous, really. He's way too good for this league. And if they can get the ball into him, he'll score goals for fun for them. Wrexham, I think they signed a lot of individually quality players. Whether the players will gel is another question. I mean, Connor Cody the weekend was, I was sorry to say it for you, but was an embarrassment. He really, really was. The own goal, the man marking on the Coney, he just basically stood off Coney on the edge of the box and let him hit it. And that's 101 defending. You've got to close the player down when they're on the edge of the box. You don't back off them and let them have a hit like that, especially somebody who's as deadly in front of goal as he was in League One. So I can see another loss for you. I think you're going to struggle this season. You signed, as I say, a lot of individually brilliant players, but the manager you've got and the way you play, you're going to struggle. Pumping up to the big man and trying to play off the big man will work against some teams, but against teams like us, Millwall, big physical sides, it won't work. And, you're 21st in the table, you've won one, drawn one, lost three. It's not looking good for you. I know obviously we're early in the season, but you don't seem to be connecting as a team. It seems to be individual players, and that's not how you do well in a league. And a lot of Wrexham fans are saying that their manager's to blame as well. Is he good enough for this league? I don't think he is. And I think the sooner you sack him and the sooner you drop Cody, I think you'll start picking up results. But yeah, Norwich 3, Wrexham 0 for this one. I can't see you scoring against Norwich. Bristol City, Oxford. Bristol City are flying. They're third in the table. They've had a fantastic start to the season. And they beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-0 last week. Whereas Oxford drew 2-2 with Leicester. So, Oxford have got Lancashire up front for him, who we had on loan last year. And, watching him, I always thought he's going to bag goals. It's just he's not getting the service he needs. And it's proven he's getting the service he needs at Oxford and he's scoring goals. So I do think if you can keep hold of him and keep him firing, I think you'll be safe. It's just you've got to pick up results against teams around you. And unfortunately, this week is not a team that's around you. And you're going to Bristol City as well, who are another team that are unbeaten. They've won 3, drawn 2. So a very good start for Bristol City. And I think they'll pick up the 3 points here again. I'm going to go Bristol City 2, Oxford 0. Um, I'm just so surprised at how good Bristol City have come all of a sudden. It's almost like you've been quietly building a very good championship side. Last season, obviously, you made it into the playoffs. This season, you lost your manager, and I thought, oh, is that going to hurt them? Doesn't seem to have affected you at all, and you're kicking on again as you left off last season. So, yeah, fantastic. Well done, Bristol City. We'll be picking up the results this weekend. And the final game is Millwall versus Watford on a Monday night. Millwall currently sit 13th in the table, and Watford are 17th. Millwall have won 2, drawn 1, lost 2, whereas Watford have won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. And I can see Millwall winning this game. I really can. Yeah, I do think under Alex Neil, and I got a lot of stick for this at the start of the season, saying that Alex Neil, I don't think he's the right man to take you forward, and I still stand by it. I don't think he's the man to push you on to what you should be doing. I think he's just too conservative in the way he plays for you guys. And I think if you change him out for a more attacking manager, I think you'll be flying in the league. You've got a solid foundation. You've also got a solid home ground. Not a lot of teams like going to the Dead and playing you there. If you play on that and push on that, then I think you'll be up there. Watford, Watford strike me as a team that have got individually great players, but don't play as a team. And that's where you're going to come unstuck in a lot of games. You can have individual brilliant quality players, but if they're not playing together as a team, that's where you're going to struggle. And I do think Millwall are going to come away 1-0 winners in this game. You're going to the Den, it's going to be a hard place. They're going to make it tough for you. So, yeah, Millwall 1, Watford 0. I do think, though, Millwall fans, if you change your manager, you'll be pushing even further this season. So, as I say, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I love reading all of them. Obviously, let's aim for 30 likes on this video and subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next episode. Bye-bye, guys.